So delighted to be able to sit down with the incredible Rha Goddess. I met her at Harvard University last spring on a panel about economy, spirituality, and how to kind of understand that being spiritual is not different from having and using resources and being resourceful and using the material world. And her transmission on that panel just affected me so deeply. I've been trying to get her on Reality Riffing and be able to share her very incredible message. I learn so much every time I sit down with her, and she is truly a force. She just wrote a book called The Calling that's coming out in January 21st, 2020. She's the entrepreneurial soul coach behind hundreds of breakthrough change makers, cultural visionaries, and social entrepreneurs. And she, every time she talks, I get so much from what she is saying, including in this conversation. I got a lot from it. She's the CEO of Move the Crowd. She's galvanizing a movement of 3 million entrepreneurs dedicated to reimagining work as a vehicle for creative expression, financial freedom, and societal transformation. And one of the things that we didn't talk about that much during the interview, but I'm really touched by her work in the areas of racial justice, equality, electoral politics, aid, restoration, mental health and youth and women's empowerment. And she's really going into those sectors and giving these true and real tools to be able to make money, do what you love, and reprogram a lot of the scarcity consciousness. So without further ado, my very powerful conversation with Rha Goddess. I am thrilled to have this incredible woman on Reality Riffing this afternoon, and I met Rha at Harvard.
Yes.
And you just blew me away with your presence and your aura and just what you were saying, and just the integrity of you was so touching, and so honored to have you here today, and also to be able to talk about this incredible new book that you have written that just has such a vibe called The Calling. And talk about your great work in the world and how incredibly amazing you are. So welcome.
Oh, thank you. And it's so mutual. Can we just say that?
I know, it's a love fest. We're having
really
it. Yeah,
from like moment one, y'all.
Yeah,
from
it's
moment
true.
one.
It's true.
It's love.
It's
period.
true.
Just
So,
is what it is.
It is. And I just love holding this book. It really does. It has such a frequency. I can tell how much of your incredible heart and just the mastery that comes through you is in here. So tell us, let's just start here. What's happening in here, and what do we get to look forward to?
Yeah. So the book is 30 years of my frontline, what I like to say, on the front lines of humanity experience, and it really is a blueprint for people who know that they are here to do more, know that they are here to be more, know that they are here to have more, know that they're here to create more. Like, this is your guide. This is your step-by-step transformative guide for how to find your calling and activate it in a very tangible way in the world.
And while you were writing this, I think it's a fascinating experience to have lived this and have taught so many people this and been, on the front lines, as you say, and then when you're putting it down in word and there's something alchemical that happens. What was your experience with that?
Yes, interesting. So I wrote the first half of the book on the island of Santorini, sitting on the caldera. And so the story goes is about 3 years before I got my book deal, my husband and I had gone to Greece, and we did Athens, we did Mykonos, but Santorini, I will tell you, got my heart.
It's magical.
If you've never been, like, just put it on your bucket list. It is magical, and it is sort of the island of love. A lot of people go there to get married, and so we were walking from Ia, which is sort of the northern part of the island, to Fira, which is kind of sort of the central southern part. And we walked past a small village called Emilio Vigli, and there was this beautiful kind of hotel slash villa. We weren't sure. We were from the outside, but we were trying to scope it out what it was. And I just, whatever it was, spirit moved me to like knock on this door and like, we need to go in here. And it was a gorgeous space, and Jorge, who was the owner, was an architect, longtime architect. It was his dream to build this 5 rooms this hotel has. I now know it's one of the top hotels in the world. But the view, you sit right on the caldera, which is where the sunken volcanoes are. It's where the tectonic plates of Asia, Europe, and Africa come together. I did not know all of this at the time. But it was just the energy, and it drew me. And literally, I walked through his hotel and out onto the deck, and just download. Here came spirit. You are to write a book. You will come back here to write it. This is the energy that you are to carry with you. It is a global conversation. It is universal. It is about humanity. It is about liberation. All the things, right? And I was like, okay, I received this and was really just moved by the energy.
Yeah.
And then I forgot. Came home, lived my life, did all of the things that we do in life. And then you
hopefully ate some really good Greek food.
Listen, well, that I will tell you, yeah. Like tomatoes are a whole other experience.
It's a whole different thing.
Olive oil is a whole other situation over there. But I come back and literally did my deal, and then shout out St. Martin's Press, and then
they're amazing.
They
really
are amazing. Can we we'll talk we'll go for anybody who's like in the book thing. We'll go there because I will tell you I love them,
and they publish such quality work.
Love them.
Yeah.
They are about it. Really from top to bottom. So I do the deal. 2 months later, I have a dream, and I literally see myself standing on the caldera getting that download. And I literally like flew up in bed and went, oh my God. And Spirit said, book the flight. And I booked it, and the first 8 chapters of that book were written literally sitting on the caldera.
Wow, how long did it take you?
7 months.
Did you spend that much time in Greece?
No.
Oh, okay.
Now, this is what's deep. The first 8 chapters came in 10 days.
That's how I work.
The first 8
I
chapters
understand that.
came, you know what I mean?
It's channeled.
You know what I mean? Like, and it was sort of, so it was intermittent periods over the course of 7 months of just get to the computer and wait for God, basically. You know what I mean? But so that's what the energy is infused with, me surrendering as much as I possibly could, and allowing what wanted to come through.
Yeah. Well, if you can feel, now that I know, it's like you can feel the sun, like the depth of the solar frequency there is. I spent some time on the island that Icarus was fabled to have fallen onto, called Icaria, and it's just the sun is different there. The frequency of the solar
everything,
energy.
The water,
everything.
I mean, I swam in the Aegean Sea.
Yeah. Oh, the Aegean
is. I've never seen water like that.
No, it's a very different experience.
Very different.
Okay, cool. That's you can feel. Now I get it. I'm like, did you think of the yellow as like the sun?
It's so interesting. This was a back and forth process, but those were the colors that came.
Okay, well, I feel it. I really feel it.
Those were the colors.
And then what was the hardest part about writing it? So it came like that, but what's been the hardest part so far?
Well, the hardest part is letting go.
Yeah.
Always.
Letting
go in the writing, and now letting go in the marketing and the promoting. You know what I mean? Like it's, writing a book is a feat unto itself, and it's interesting because so many of us have books in us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe they get the first couple of chapters out. Maybe there's a rough outline. Maybe it never happens. It sort of stays in the land of conversation.
Yeah.
But for anybody who has been able to get from the front cover to the back cover, you know it takes something.
Yes, you do.
It just does.
Yep.
It takes something
Yep.
to show up for the thing and allow it to come. So that in and of itself is a journey. And then when you start to talk about, like, how does the book live in the world? And if you have a big vision for the reach that you want the book to have, that's a whole other 3 or 4 jobs.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And so the letting, like lots of opportunities to practice letting go is my point, right? You have to trust other people. You've got to work with a team.
Yeah.
Not only just your team, if you're fortunate to be able to have other people working with you and supporting you, but, you're working with your publisher's team and a trusting. Like that everybody wants this to go well. And you can just trust more, force less, allow more, breathe more. That has been the practice.
Yeah.
All the way down the line. It's been the practice.
Do you feel like another part of your calling has come through? What would it? How would you describe it?
I think and I feel like on some level I've always known it, but I think it got really clear for me when I was sort of writing the final chapter of the book. And I dedicate the book to my father, who passed away in 2016. And I begin with, in the introduction, sharing a little of his story. And then I end talking a little bit about writing his eulogy. And it was in the midst of the last chapter that I really got that this was a credo for liberation. That my hope and prayer is that people recognize that within these pages is the blueprint to get free. If they say yes to the invitation, there is really an opportunity to get free. And I say that humbly because it's not me. You know what I mean? This was what was given to me to share.
Yeah. One of the things I found just, it was the words you're saying, but also in your aura when I met you and when we were speaking on that panel, is you have a real transmission it's not the content, but it's also a frequency of that very thing of really kind of I'll use the word blueprint because you used it, but also just a kind of I felt very much that there's a breadcrumb trail that you've left in your own journey of this. If you follow, this is a way out of the whatever poverty consciousness or whatever kind of forgetfulness of your soul's purpose or whatever that is. And it really, like, you have that transmission, and it really did that comes through you so deeply. And I'm curious, just all these years of working with people, what have you found in how these things kind of keep us prison, and what are the ways out that you found are so useful?
So it's interesting because even the way that the book is structured represents what I have found to be the 3 most common hurdles. Right?
Yeah.
That people grapple with when it comes to their calling and their purpose, right? The first thing is, like, who am I to deserve to have a calling or to have a purpose? Or who am I to deserve to live a life where I get to do what comes natural to me, or do what I've been, or share what I've been gifted with? Or do you know what I mean? Like, the innate sense of unworthiness that we feel due to all of the messaging and conditioning, and all of the layers of messaging and conditioning, is often the first frontier. Right? The way that we see ourselves, the way that what we believe we're capable of or not capable of, what we think embodies us or enables us to answer or not answer. It's like all of the personal concerns, like we go there. And what I'll say is that the shifts, right? I talk about the 3 fundamental shifts. The first shift is the invitation to stay true, and that really is to move from victim to vision. Because so much of the conditioning that we carry and often are immersed in keeps us operating from a place of reaction.
Yeah.
Right? Or from a place of default, you know, or from a place of somebody else's expectations about who we should be or what we should have or what we should do or what success looks like, or, you know, so it's all of that. And so in the first section of the book, I really do invite you to take the hook out of your mouth and find your own truth and sit in what is your own truth about who you are and what you want and what's important to you and what really matters. And so that's the first concern we address, is your relationship with you.
Yeah.
Which stands in the way for a lot of us.
Yeah, yeah.
The second frontier is, how am I going to make money? Can I pay the rent? How am I going to feed the kids? And that is, you know, when we're in conversation, that's often the number one reason why people, right, will tell you they're not pursuing, right, is because we also have been conditioned to believe passion, heart's desire over here, money, pragmatic, nuts and bolts, you feel me, right? Black and white, right? Over there. And the two would never meet.
Yeah.
And it's so much embedded in the mythology of our culture that we have to trade. And one of the biggest wounds, I think, we are grappling with individually, collectively, is this idea that parts of us must be sold in order for us to survive and sustain ourselves in global society.
I think, interestingly, that the technological revolution in the oncoming robotization, which is not a word, but I think it should be, the robots and the what's happening in the next, what we're going to see
all
major.
Of what's moving through AI, for sure.
I feel that this is actually part of this kind of emancipation of a lot of what has been ideas about how money is made and time spent, and I really rail up against the dystopian future of AI and the robots. I think this is going to actually free us up to get more into the things that are more human and give value to things that are more human.
Yeah.
So so that's two.
Yeah.
That's
the
it's big one. The money.
Yeah. And like permission to create your own economy.
Yes.
Because at the heart of the conversation is about shifting us from this place of scarcity to abundance, right? So that's the second shift. First shift, victim to vision.
Yeah.
Second shift, scarcity to abundance, and really healing that for ourselves and taking back our right to participate in and create economies where all of us can thrive and prosper.
Yes.
Right? Because we've been sold something else about economy.
Yep.
And so that's the second shift, and and I take you all the way there in terms of how you can create and participate in the marketplace from a place of values and conviction and alignment, heart alignment, soul alignment, spirit alignment, and really being a contribution in whatever you're offering or you're bringing, in whatever way you choose to organize it. So that's the second, right, concern we deal with. And then the third is, who am I to think that I could change the world? Who am I to think that I can make a difference? But the truth is, like, contribution is a human need.
Yes.
Every single one of us needs to contribute and share.
Yeah.
And we don't talk enough about that.
No, we don't.
Do you know what I mean? And we certainly don't frame it as a human need.
Yeah.
It is the root of our love. It is what, do you know what I'm saying? In other words, it is our love made manifest in the world.
It's the verb. It's the action of love.
And if we are not contributing, we are not living. Like, that's just, do you know what I mean? And so we, in the third part of the book, we take back our right to contribute. And we also take back what we've been handed about the state of our world. You know what I mean? Like our ability to confront our own fear, doubt, ignorance, apathy, resignation, all of that is in the invitation in the third section of the book, to really go like, what is it that I believe about the state of the world, and how does that drive how I'm showing up? And my question to you in the book is, do you want to be part of the problem or part of the solution?
Yeah.
Right? And at the heart of that, the question is, are we going to choose fear or are we going to choose love? And that is the third and final shift, moving from fear to love.
Amazing. Amazing. So I know you work with people who, like, let's shift to, I'm a person, which I am a person, who's an entrepreneur, and I found my calling.
Yeah.
Now, how about the people who, they found their calling, but they're in what we call in theater second act problems?
Yeah.
How does this...
Yeah, that's so beautiful, because we, in the work that we do at Move the Crowd, which is the company that I have the joy and honor of leading, as founder and CEO, we work with entrepreneurs in three stages of development, right?
Yeah.
So the first stage, which is the emergent, like, you know, the ideation stage, we call the I have a dream stage, right? The second act, what you call the second act, I love that, second act problems, that we call the second tier, we call that is our established entrepreneurs. It's like where I've said yes to my purpose, and, you know, and we affectionately call them the show me the money. Folks, right? Because
we're there.
Okay, God, I said yes now. You know, where's rent? Because here we go.
Yeah.
Right? And I will say to you that for people who are often challenged around the second act, it has to do with alignment. It has to do with our relationship to having. And it has to do with a clarity about who we're here to serve and how we're here to serve them. So this translation of the vision of your calling into an actual tangible offer or proposition that you make into the marketplace to shift, transform, move the life of who you want to serve, and the precision that you bring to that. And then the ways in which you share it that actually put you in the proximity of who you need to be serving and supporting is all second act work. You know what I mean? And your ability to receive, because in my experience, entrepreneurs, opportunities flowing all the time.
Yeah.
Your ability to see opportunity, your ability to vet what is opportunity that is aligned versus what is opportunity that is distraction, right?
Which is so important.
What are actions that are aligned, that are needle movers versus what are distraction actions? This is the 80-20 conversation, right? That 20% of what we do is what really moves the needle. 80% of the rest of it is, you know, we kind of walking around the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so building that discipline and that muscle to have more of what we bring our time, energy, and effort to is being needle-moving activity. And then the clarity and the conviction of who we want to serve. You know, when people were asking me, like, what were you thinking about when you were writing the book? And truly for me, as the download was coming, I saw one soul. I didn't see millions and millions of people, though clearly for me the intention and the hope and the desire is that it gets. But my conversation, my discourse was with one soul. And my commitment to be in service is to become so profoundly connected to the hearts, minds, and spirits of who I want to serve, that they're with me all the time. That they are what consumes my thoughts.
Yeah.
What are they struggling with today? What do they need to hear today? What do they need to know today? And so, you know, in the alleviation of second act challenges, you know, that clarity right? And then it's about how we build the systems and the structures to be of service. What is the infrastructure that supports our ability to be of service? And how do we bring excellence to the infrastructure, recognizing that infrastructure represents trust, which is, can you really hold me? If I come to you and I have this challenge or this struggle or this opportunity that I want to take advantage of, is the container solid? Is the container sacred? Is the container holy? And what will be the quality of my experience if I trust your guidance? And we have to take all those aspects of the work seriously. Doesn't mean we get it perfect or right all the time.
Right.
Because you and I both know infrastructure is the hardest thing.
It's the hardest thing.
It's just the hardest thing.
It's the hardest thing.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not for some people. I think maybe for some people, infrastructure is easy, and maybe more of the creative juice is harder. So I think it depends on the kind of person you are.
True.
And these days, you know, the binary human, the human that can go back and forth from the left and right brain.
Yeah.
This is required of everyone to be really truly successful.
No question.
The infrastructure is it's really. But I love that you say that it's about trust.
It's trust.
Yeah.
You know, if I sit in the chair, will the chair hold me?
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we have to think about it, because it's often the least sexy,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
of the work.
Yes.
But it is how all of those things work together to ultimately create the experience and to ultimately build the trust and the foundation on which you and the work stand as you serve. So.
And the trust of your clients, or the trust of your consumer, which is in this day and age. I mean, you know, just going on that technological age thread. This part of what is I think one of the things that makes one kind of business or brand go above others, besides a lot of other things, is that there's an understanding of true customer service and true kind of that exchange. I mean, that's becoming more and more of a luxury market. You know, I don't have to talk to a computer, I can talk to a human who cares about my experience. That's luxury. That's basically what a luxury experience is now.
And who remembers my name?
Yeah.
For sure.
So I think it's, you know, so people who understand that you're building that kind of trust with your consumer is, you know, this is it's integral to having a long.
Huge. And how you maintain it as you grow. You know, because it's one thing to be high touch when it's 5 people.
Yep.
It's another thing to be high touch when it's 50,000.
It's so.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. So what's the third piece of that?
So I talked about emergent, right? I have a dream. Established, show me the money. We're affectionately our second act folks.
Yeah.
And then the third is the experience, which we call I believe I can fly. And that is like you've realized the revenue, the model, the purpose, the mission, all of that is cooking. And now you're really wanting to take it worldwide. You're wanting to scale it and grow it. Yeah. So it's plan, model, scale.
Scale, yeah. Yeah.
I work in 3s.
I like
Everything is 3s with me, y'all.
But Trinity, I mean, the
Trinity.
The Trinity
Yes,
laws, they're real.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, that law of 3 we talk about in tantric numerology, 2019 has been a 3 year. And that law of 3 is very much, it's the entrepreneur, the 3, it's the boss, it's the leader, because those Trinity laws, I mean, they're very real. They're very real. Yeah. So what would you tell people? We're at the end of 2019, going into 2020. Your book is coming out on January
21st.
21st. I like that. 2020. That's a good date.
Yeah.
And what would you tell people to give them a little foot up in this coming year?
Yeah. So I really believe it's interesting because our 2019, and we do an annual theme, and I do a downloaded message at the top of every year.
Oh, really?
And there will be a downloaded message on January 5th. We'll talk more about it, but there will be a downloaded message on January 5th as well coming in.
We need to know about that.
But this year's message was lean into love and experience the bounty. And we defined, we talked about love's unwavering, permeating energy, just the fact that love is available and accessible to us at every single turn, no matter what we're navigating through or challenged by, that is always available to us. And the bounty I described as love's 3 unwavering promises. The first is that all is well. The second is that there is enough. And the third is that you are worthy. And we are in the quarter of you are worthy. And cosmically, when you looked at the sort of the forecast for 2019, so much of the conversation about the end of this year was about people waking up to the truth of who they really were.
Yeah.
And really a whole other level of sort of bold and unapologetic expression starting to erupt as a result of people suddenly becoming fully present to really how magnificent and incredible they are. And so I say all of that to say that in this fourth quarter energy of you are worthy are the seeds of 2020, because it always starts 90 days before. Energetically, the cosmic year, right, starts 90 days before. And so the energy of 2020 is really explosion of expression, creativity, and being out in the world, being willing to be seen, being willing to be heard, being willing to be felt. There's also an exponential factor baked in, you know what I mean? And I'm not a numerologist, so it could be because we're in the, we're in the double digit, and the sort of the reflection of the double digit. But I will say that there is something about there's an exponential energy moving through the vibration of 2020, and so our opportunity is to be aligned because we want to experience the positive attributes of the magnification. You know what I'm saying?
That's very important.
As opposed to the other, what could
the
be
polarity.
The other side. Exactly. And so our ability to understand and harness that energy, and our ability to ride that energy, and our ability to be guided by that energy has everything to do with alignment. And so I will say to you that the New Year's message, which I reveal and will reveal on January 5th, has everything to do with that.
Yeah.
And it is a very specific directive that we are being invited into for 2020 that is all about alignment.
Amazing. How do we get where do we find
so
that?
We will be, so you all can hit us up. So our site, movethecrowd.me, as in like move me. By all means, you will see all of the top banners moving in terms of all of what's coming. You can hit our events calendar. We're going to be live streaming January 5th. And so we're still working on the specifics in terms of location, but just know that there will be a link and information coming very soon, and you'll be able to sign up and be present for that. And also to know that the book we're in pre-order for the book. So if you want to join our insider community, and these are folks we've been loving up on, and you'll get additional content, additional trainings from me, as well as the behind the scenes, step by step, like what does it look like to launch a book? What does it look like to go from, for me, what has been a very insular kind of reality? I've been the person in the back of the room for most of my work and life and career, to now becoming a person that's moving to the front of the room, and all of the concerns that come with that.
Oh, that's so cool. That's beautiful that you're going to share that.
So that's available to you as well. Like, you just go to the site, click on the top banner, all the pre-order information's right there. You just drop in the confirmation number, and you get welcomed into the Insider Club, and we just get to love up on you.
First of all, I've learned so much, and I felt the same way at Harvard, and just now I just got a lot from your both. It's what you're saying, but it's also the frequency. It's such a transmission of love and purity and just the real, what's the very real. And so thank you for everything you're doing. But also, I say this a lot, and I'm saying this to everyone out there, for a woman to finish and publish a book. I mean, we take this, I think you take it for granted. Bell Hooks, I use Bell Hooks, a wonderful quotation that I always quote it, which is basically, do you remember what it is, Edmund Jote? No woman has ever written enough.
No woman has ever written enough.
Yeah, and so I just, I know what it is to do this, and I also know just all of the work that you're doing in all of the ways that you're doing, how important this is. So I say that to everyone who's listening to this. Buy the book. Buy the book. Get the physical copy. It means something. Or you can get on Kindle too. But buy the book any way you possibly can and support, because this is not the for what you have given here. It means a lot to the author and to the creator, and also every time I talk to you, I learn so much. So I know how much you're giving. So telling everyone, stop what you're doing and buy the damn book. It's called The Calling by Rha Goddess, and you are going to be lucky that you get this transmission. And I'm really excited to watch how this unfolds. I'm
Mama,
with
thank you.
I'm just with you in every step of the way, my prayer, and I'm really, really excited for everything that you're doing. So bless you.
Thank you so much. And just thank you for who you be. Thank you for your work. Thank you for all of the souls that you touch. Thank you for answering your calling.
Thank you.
Because I would not be here if you didn't.
Thank you.
So just thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Love you.
And how do they find you on social?
At Rha Goddess, and it's RHA Goddess.
Yeah.
And that's across all of the platforms, Facebook, Twitter, IG.
Amazing.
And then also in terms of Move the Crowd and our movement, at True Paid Good.
True Paid Good. I like that.
Good.
Do you tweet?
We do.
Wow.
At True Paid Good.
Maybe I'll start to tweet in 2020. I can't figure out how to get into my Twitter account. It's taken all of 2019. We're going to make it here.
All kinds of things
Here
go
we
on.
go.
Let me
Here
tell
we go.
you. Yes.
Okay, well, bless you, and can't wait to see more of everything that's going to be happening.
Thank you so much, my love.
Thank you. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Reality Riffing. These are conversations that I think are important with people who are doing great things in the world about subject matters that need to be discussed. If you enjoyed the content, the conversation, please feel free to share with your people, share with your friends and family, rate the podcast below, and also subscribe.